Today, the White House was bustling with activity as there was a special event taking place. President Barack Obama was giving a speech. During his speech, Obama mocked Trump about his ability to become president and criticized his idea of building a border wall. In the middle of his speech, Trump appeared, and a fierce debate arose. What has happened? Let's investigate further. Before diving into the main content of the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive updates on the latest videos from our channel. Leave your comments to give us feedback on the content and any other topics you're interested in. Your support means a lot to us. Have a great day. My name is Jack, and I am Trump's employee. As a longtime observer of politics, I had been invited to attend the small gathering that would take place in the Oval Office. It was a rare opportunity, one that I could not pass up. And so I made my way to the White House, filled with anticipation and curiosity. Soon enough, he walked onto the stage, greeted by enthusiastic applause. He smiled and began his speech, speaking about the importance of democracy, the power of the people, and the impact of the upcoming election on the future of the country. Friends, fellow Americans, Obama began, his voice resonating with authority. We stand at a crucial juncture in our nation's history. The choices we make in the upcoming election will shape the course of our future for generations to come. He paused, allowing his words to sink in before continuing. It is imperative that we uphold the principles of democracy, that we defend the rights and freedoms that define us as a nation. We cannot afford to succumb to fear and division, to allow ourselves to be divided by petty politics and personal ambitions. The crowd erupted into applause, swept up in the fervor of Obama's rhetoric. But amidst the applause, there were those who remained skeptical, who questioned the sincerity of his words. But then, in the middle of his speech, President Obama's tone shifted. He began to talk about the current Republican candidate, Donald Trump, and his idea of building a border wall between the United States and Mexico. I have to say, I find it quite amusing that Mr. Trump believes he has what it takes to become president, Obama said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. The audience chuckled along, sensing that the president was about to make a joke at Trump's expense. Now, I'm not here to discuss politics or endorse any candidate, but I have to say, I find it quite concerning that Mr. Trump thinks he can simply build a wall to keep out all the problems in this country. It's a simplistic and, quite frankly, ridiculous approach to dealing with complex issues. But Obama didn't just stop at ridiculing Trump's ability to become president. He also criticized his idea of building a border wall. He explained that walls don't solve problems, they only create more divisions and conflicts. Our country was built by immigrants, and it's what makes us so unique and diverse. Building a wall goes against everything this great nation stands for. Instead of building walls, we should be building bridges and finding ways to work together. Only then can we truly make America great, Obama declared passionately. Suddenly, the room fell silent as Trump entered, flanked by his own team of advisors. He was all business, dressed in his signature dark suit with his hair perfectly styled. His demeanor was confident and his gaze was steely, giving off an air of readiness for the responsibility that lay ahead. "How dare you?" he shouted, his voice resonating through the room. The audience fell silent, unsure of what was happening. Obama raised an eyebrow but remained calm. "I'm sorry, Mr. Trump," he said. "I was simply stating my opinion." "Well, your opinion is wrong," Trump retorted, his arms flailing in the air. "I have a plan to make this country great again, and it involves building a wall to keep out all the illegal immigrants and stopping them from taking away our jobs." The crowd was now divided, with some applauding Trump's words, while others shook their heads in disagreement. The tension in the room was thick, and it was clear that things were taking a serious turn. Central to Trump's campaign and presidency was the promise to make America great again, and a cornerstone of that promise was his plan to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. Trump's argument for the construction of the border wall rested on several key points, chief among them being the idea that illegal immigrants were taking away jobs from American citizens. He argued that by tightening border security and preventing illegal immigration, He could protect American workers and revitalize the economy. The influx of illegal immigrants into the United States has created unfair competition in the job market, driving down wages and making it difficult for American workers to find employment. By building a wall and implementing stricter immigration policies, I aim to create a level playing field for American workers and ensure that they were not being unfairly displaced by foreign labor, he affirmed. Moreover, Trump declared illegal immigration was a threat to national security as it brought about crime, drugs, and terrorism. Porous borders allowed criminals and terrorists to enter the country undetected, posing a risk to the safety and well-being of American citizens. In my view, a border wall was necessary to protect the country from these external threats and uphold its sovereignty. Throughout his campaign and presidency, Trump repeatedly emphasized the need for strong borders and strict immigration enforcement as a means of safeguarding American interests. He portrayed himself as a champion of the American worker, fighting to protect their jobs and livelihoods from the perceived threat of illegal immigration. As Obama continued to speak, his words became more pointed. He emphasized the uncertainty of the times and the importance of having a leader who was capable, experienced, and steady. The presidency is not an entry-level position. It requires a certain level of skill and expertise, he concluded. Without missing a beat, Trump began to speak. I couldn't help but overhear the words of my predecessor, Barack Obama, as he addressed the nation. And let me tell you, folks, it's clear that he's still living in the past. For a moment, it seemed as if Obama was taken aback by Trump's words. His face remained stoic, but there was a flicker of annoyance in his eyes. I could tell that Obama was not used to being challenged in such a public manner. But before Obama had a chance to respond, Trump made his last point, and it was the most important one. Obama talks about uncertainty. Well, let me tell you something. When I took office, this country was in a state of disarray. Jobs were disappearing. Our borders were wide open and our enemies were laughing at us. But I came in, and what did I do? I made America strong again. And as for this nonsense about the presidency not being an entry-level position, well, let me remind Obama that I didn't come from the swamp of Washington. I came from the real world, where I built a business empire and created thousands of jobs. That's the kind of experience that matters. And let's talk about skill and expertise, shall we? Under my leadership, we saw record low unemployment, historic tax cuts, and the defeat of ISIS. I don't need a teleprompter to tell you that's real skill. So, Obama can keep living in his ivory tower, looking down on us hard-working Americans. But we are not going back to the days of weakness and decline. We're moving forward, and we're doing it with strength, courage, and the leadership that this country deserves. His words were sharp and defensive, and he made it clear that he did not take lightly to being told what to do. The room fell into a heavy silence as Trump's words hung in the air. Everyone, even Obama, seemed to be contemplating the weight of his words. It was clear that Trump was not just talking to Obama, but to all of us, reminding us of the gravity of the decision that had been made. As an observer, I have seen the rise of many political figures and their journey towards power. However, none have been as controversial and unconventional as Donald Trump. When he announced his entry into the presidential race, many were skeptical and dismissed him as a mere publicity stunt. But as the race progressed and he emerged as the Republican nominee, it became clear that he was a force to be reckoned with. Trump's journey towards the presidency was not an easy one. He faced constant criticism and backlash from both his opponents and the media. However, he never let these hinder his determination and passion for the country. He had a clear vision for America, and he was determined to make it a reality. One of the first things that struck me about Trump was his business expertise. People often underestimate the importance of business knowledge in politics, but it is a crucial aspect of running a country. And Trump has proven time and again that he is a master of the business world. He has built a successful empire from scratch and has a net worth of billions. This experience gave him a unique perspective on the economy and how to create jobs. This was evident in one of his campaign promises to bring back jobs to America. And true to his word, he has already taken measures to encourage companies to invest in the country and create job opportunities for its citizens. Critics often argue that Trump's lack of political experience makes him unfit for the presidency. But what they fail to see is that his lack of experience is actually an advantage. It allows him to approach problems from a different perspective and think outside the box. And in today's ever-changing world, innovation and adaptability are essential qualities for a leader. Trump has proven that he is not afraid to take risks and try unconventional methods to tackle issues. Of course, not all of his ideas may work, but at least he is not afraid to take action and make necessary changes. Another aspect of Trump that often gets overlooked is his passion for the country. Throughout his campaign, he spoke about making America great again and putting American citizens first. And he has stayed true to his word. He has taken a tough stance on immigration and has implemented policies to protect the interests of American workers. It may not be a popular decision, but it shows that he is willing to put the needs of his country above all else. This is what sets him apart from many other politicians who seem more focused on their personal gains rather than the well-being of their country. Another aspect that sets Trump apart from many other politicians is his compassion for the people. Yes, he may have a tough exterior and a blunt way of speaking, but deep down, he genuinely cares about the well-being of his fellow Americans. I saw this firsthand when I accompanied him to one of the cities devastated by a natural disaster. There was no political agenda or PR stunt. He simply wanted to see how we could help. He spoke to the victims, hugged them, and promised to do everything in his power to assist them in rebuilding their lives. It was a side of him that the media rarely showed, but it was a reflection of his true character. One of the most significant challenges that Trump has faced since taking office is the ongoing pandemic. Many criticized his handling of the situation, but no one can deny that it has been a tough and unprecedented crisis for any leader to handle. Despite the initial chaos and confusion, Trump quickly took action and implemented travel bans and set up a task force to tackle the situation. He also worked closely with scientists and doctors to come up with solutions and secure funding for developing a vaccine. And while there may have been setbacks and mistakes made along the way, Trump has been constantly working towards finding a solution and bringing the country back to normalcy. One of the most admirable qualities about Trump is his fearlessness. In a world where most politicians are careful with their words and actions, Trump seems to throw caution to the wind. He is unapologetically himself, and that is something that has both earned him massive support and sparked intense backlash. I first saw Trump's fearlessness in action during his campaign for the presidency. He came into the race as a non-traditional candidate, with no political experience or background. He didn't have the backing of the Republican establishment, and many thought his chances of winning were slim to none. But Trump defied all odds and captured the hearts of millions of Americans. He fearlessly challenged the status quo and spoke directly to the people, cutting through the political jargon and promising to make America great again. His fearlessness was on full display during the presidential debates. Instead of rehearsed and scripted answers, Trump spoke his mind, sometimes with sharp and controversial statements. He didn't back down when attacked by his opponents, and his unapologetic confidence captured the attention of the nation. As the days passed and Trump's campaign gained momentum, it became clear that what many had dismissed as a publicity stunt was turning into a serious bid for the White House. And on election night, Trump's fearlessness paid off when he won the presidency, shocking the world and solidifying his status as a political powerhouse. As president, he continued to challenge the status quo and take on powerful individuals and organizations. He recognized the significance of America's trade policies and the negative impact they were having on the country's economy. While many other politicians had turned a blind eye to this issue, Trump made it his mission to renegotiate deals that were beneficial to all Americans. He also took on domestic issues with the same boldness. He recognized the corruption and wrongdoings of some politicians and didn't hesitate to call them out publicly. His commitment towards fighting for the truth and transparency in government was evident in his actions. As I witness Trump's journey as the President of the United States, I can't help but see how he has managed to overcome all odds and prove his critics wrong. He may not have the conventional political background, but he has proven that he is more than capable of leading a country. His business acumen, passion for America, adaptability, fearlessness, and determination make him a suitable candidate for the presidency. And I have no doubt that his actions in office will continue to prove that he is indeed the right man for the job.